today. So before we start, set a correct motivation, bodhicitta motivation, dedicating this very session, then rest of one's life, rest of one's existence until one become Buddha, for the benefit of numberless sentient beings, temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness of enlightenment. Just like all the 3 times Buddhas and bodhisattvas and gurus have uphold the conduct of enlightened mind, bodhicitta, and every single moment, be in the service of numberless sentient beings, well-being, as well as in the service of preservations of the Dharma, which is the cure from all the limitations of samsara, limitations of any form of sufferings that even we human go through. So these are these great beings are the inspiration, example, role model for us to stay aligned with the altruistic path, the meaningful altruistic path, making our life most meaningful. So generate this altruistic motivation after refreshing the heart with sincere faith and devotion and conviction in the Triple Gem, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. We do that. Sangye Chetan Soje Chona La Chanju Badu Dani Kyasoje Daje Jinsoje Be Sonam Dola Benje Sangye Rubara Jo Sangye Chetan Soje Chona La Chanju Badu Dani Kyason Daje Jinsoje Be Sonam Je Dola Benje Sangye Rubara Jo Sangye Chetan Soje Chona La Chanju Badu Dani Kyason Daje Jinso Jebe Sonam Je Dola Benje Sanje Drupara. Also today, many monasteries and nunneries, like such as 3 great monasteries like Serra-de-Punganden, and many other regional monasteries, nunneries, concluding their 1 month and a half long summer retreat, where the Sangha communities conduct fully, very much concentrated practice of extensive learning, extensive meditations and retreats, and observations of strict Vinaya precepts. So much of accumulations of merit. And right this morning is very much the conclusion, also called as a Gaye. It's a dedication period. And releasing from the retreat with so much of joy in the Dharma, joy in the vast accumulations of merit. So we all can come together to rejoice such a great preservation of Dharma, the Vinaya, which is the thing that make possible of the existence of the Dharma, the preserving the 3 main activities of the Vinaya, the Sojong, the confession ceremony. Then the another one is a Yarne, the summer retreat. then what is happening today, the Gaye, the releasing of the summer retreat. So these three are understood that if these three activities exist, means there's existence of the Sangha community. Without Sangha community, these three things won't be possible to exist. If these three things is happening in the world, in the place, that means Vinaya is intact. That means Buddha Dharma is intact. So in one way, in the midst of, overwhelming samsara, but at the same time, there's a great, communities of the Mahasanghas, preserving these practices as equal purity as Buddha's time, as equal and the high quality standard as like the Buddha's time. So this is something that really to rejoice and dedicate and aspire one day, whether it can be in this life or whether it can be in future lifetime. May I too be part of the great successor of the Buddha's Dharma through upholding these three, three activities of the Vinaya. Yeah, so then rejoice that with the remembrance of the immeasurable kindness of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, immeasurable kindness of our lineage gurus, such as Kyabja Lama Sopa Rinpoche, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, all your individual teachers, who very much is the one that lead us to this position, the life that we have today. To even witness, to rejoice, such a great Dharma, pure Dharma lineage existence, and to have a Dharma discourse, to able to have the full environment, like the teachings, like the community, to inspire us, to develop our heart. And these are the blessings of these lineage gurus and the Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. Kangi dozene zone tawa damje pa bechire da bechune tuwe zebe kodam de la cha se lo tonyi nye je song do jube la ma seje seje kanje tende chana bemo tenzen ja zo la so wa dep so da ju chin je. Okay, thank you. So everybody can hear clearly? Okay, that's good. Thank you. So, so firstly, Chadong Chendong Center, led by Venerable Lindy and the SPC and the committee members and the students to to conduct today's session. Very much, I think one of the reason is the community at Chadong Chendong, in person as well as online. The group of students are, carry on conducting the preliminary retreats, which has started recently, the preliminary retreats on refuge. And on top of that, regular discussions, sharing on the Lamrim practices, Lamrim teachings. So which is really amazing, and rejoice for encouraging to do today's session. So today's brief reading on the one of well celebrated teaching in all the four traditions of Tibetan Buddhism, even though this lineage was passed through the Sakya lineage, but it is the practice that practiced by anyone who aspire for even a higher rebirth in human realm, overcoming three lower realms, and no questions about those who aspire for liberation out of samsara, and no question about those who aspire to achieve full enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. As for the transmissions, oral transmissions, and commentary and instructional lineage, also, practiced by all the four traditions of Tibetan Buddhism, even though it is initial lineage, came from Sajja tradition, and it is so blessed teaching. It is composed by Manjushri. So it is the lineage of the instruction was passed down to Sachin Kunga Nyingpo, one of the great Sakya master who came into existence around 12th century, Sachin Kunga Nyingpo, during his conducting the Manjushri, White Manjushri retreat. Then Manjushri appears, Manjushri appears to him and reveal these teachings on the parting from the four clingings. It is also called as a parting from the four attachment. So, so therefore, it is truly blessed nectar of the Dharma, which contained entire Lamrim. You can either understand as this is the root text to all the Lamrim teachings, the three capable beings part, or you can also take this teaching as a summary, the essence of the entire Lamrim teaching, the teachings of the three capable beings part. So whichever way you like to look at it, it carries just in the four line, but it carries entire stages of the path. It is practice, it is instruction, it is expression, of the entire Lamrim. So therefore, to do extensive commentary, of course, we have to go through the entire 84,000 teaching. So the 84,000 teaching is the elaborate meaning of this four line instruction. It comes in almost 300 over volumes, Kanjur and Tenjur. Even referring to Lamrim, in English translation, there are three great volumes, which we all know, so elaborate, so extensive, and those are the commentary to these four line teachings. When it comes to practice, meditational guide, then when you meditate on this four line, you're able to overcome all the limitations that which lead us to three lower realms, the suffering of the three lower realms. It will.
It's smelly one. I open the door, let it air.
It acts as an antidote to overcome the limitations of this existing in the six realms, the samsara. It also acts as an antidote to overcome the limitations of the which obstacle to actualize the bodhisattva's path, including of the limitation of the nirvana, the self, just self alone purpose. So by meditating on these four lines or the four instructions, able to overcome all these limitations and will make possible to achieve for immediate level very meaningful, happy, contented, peaceful aspect of this very human life. Then on top of that, it will guarantee the actualizing, higher rebirth in future lifetime by securing all the causes of virtuous karma. On top of that, will guarantee to actualize liberation from the entire six realms. And on top of that, it guarantees, for us to achieve state of full enlightenment. So if we manage to meditate on these four instructions, we will receive that kind of benefit, that kind of benefit. There are many teachings that which is so effective, but this four-line or practice, if you apply in our day-to-day life, immediately, right there and then, you start to enjoy happiness, true happiness, inner peace. The main the main object of negation to these four lines are the four objects of attachment. The four objects of attachment, by overcoming the four graspings and for attachment. So attachment to worldly concepts, which is attachment to this life. Then attachment to contaminated or the temporary happiness of the future lifetime. Then attachment to self-centered, very limited purposes. You see, so then able to antidote to the wrong views, all the wrong views, such as wrong views of impermanent as a permanent, impure as a pure, and no self as self as an no self as a self, the selflessness as a self, or the true existent self, inherently existent self, etc. So all these wrong views are the reason we commit, not only commit causes for samsara, like such as the suffering of suffering, the suffering of contaminated aggregates, the compounded suffering, but it also will lead us to experience the suffering of pain, you see. So so therefore, by antidoting to all these objects and the wrong mind of such as those attachments, you start to enjoy the stages of liberation, the true happiness, genuine inner peace, like that, So it is a very powerful tool to bring happiness in our even our day-to-day life, in a very immediate level. So without taking many months to actualize those benefits, So it's very, very powerful and very, very, very a very blessed practice. So today I don't know how much we can go through. Of course, I will start with the root texts. The first the instruction came into writing, the instruction that received by Sachin Kunga Nyingpo, the 4-line. Then after that, if we have time, then we will go through the slight elaborated, or you can call as a commentary, which wrote by the Venerable Tengpa, who is the heart disciple or the heart son of the Sachin Kunga Nyingpo. And the most elaborated commentary to that is Nupa Rinzin Takpa, or it also called Nupa Rinzin Taks, parting from the four attachment. So you can find all these different commentaries within the great collections of the Lojong texts. So like that, yeah. So it says like this: when the great Sakyapa, Sachin Kunga Nyingpo, reached at the age of 12, he undertook an approximation retreat on Manjushri for 6 months. One day, he experienced a direct visions of yellow Manjushri, who was seated on the jewel throne in the posture of peaceful deity amid a mass of light, with his hand in the gesture of the teaching and flanked on each side by the bodhisattva. The central deity then uttered the following lines. So Manjushri, so appear the direct appearance of the yellow Manjushri and surrounded by all the celestial bodhisattvas. So this the bodhisattva such as Manjushri always surrounded like bodhisattva like Chen, bodhisattva like Vajapani, the bodhisattva like Samadabhadra, etc. So mass of bodhisattvas there. Then the Manjushri uttered this the teaching. So the first one from the 4 line: if you cling to this life, you are not a practitioner. If you cling to the 3 realms, that is not renunciation. If you cling to self-interest, you are not a bodhisattva. If grasping arises, it is not the view. So then it says, as Sachin Kunga Nyingpo, the great Sakyapa, perused the meaning of this utterness, he realized that all the practices pertaining to the path of the perfection vehicle coverage on this training of the mind by means of parting from the 4 clinging. He thus attained extraordinary ascertainment of all the teachings. So in relation to this 4 line of teaching, as mentioned before, one can examine how much one understand the Buddha Dharma. So those of us who study Lamrim, who listen teaching to Lamrim, and the moment you you read these 4 lines, and then you can check yourself, how detailed, how in-depth understanding of Lamrim one has, through this root line can able to relate the different points to the different chapters and different points of the Lamrim teachings. While reading this, our mind is blank. That even though we say we study Dharma, we study Lamrim, then that meaning we didn't really able to capture, those meaning of the different points of the Lamrim. If you have studied philosophy, then there are many different chapters, many different labels of different philosophical treatises. So one need to see all those different texts, those different subjects, those different teachings of philosophy. See the meaning of these 4 lines into different points like that. So if you have studied Lojong teachings and the similar reason, if you have studied Tantra, then the essence of the Tantric teaching, like such as 4 classes of the Tantric practices, the Tantric teaching, Tantric practices illustrate on the basis of the common preliminary practices, the Lamrim. So, those of us who have received initiations, then how much you have understood the teachings of the Tantra and how much you felt the meaning of the Tantra, kind of like, how to say, so you're able to see all those different points, different teachings and practices, when you read these 4 lines like that, or you're able to summarize all those practices within these 4 lines, within these 4 teachings. So like that. So similarly for Sajja, the great Sakyapa, after he hear this teaching, then he makes sense to all the various teaching that he have studied before, and he able to summarize all those teachings within these 4 categories of instructions. Make sense to all the study he did through these 4 lines of practices or meaning like that. So so the 4 line, if you cling to this life, you are not a practitioner. So if you cling to this life, then you are not Dharma practitioner. So cling to this life meaning what? If you cling to this life meaning, if you take care of day-to-day your necessities, does it mean that, like cling to this life? Have concern about what to have for breakfast, concern about which supermarket to go for grocery shopping, concern about your day-to-day, normal activities, the jobs, health, etc. Does it mean that just having the just being responsible, or just taking responsibility of your day-to-day necessities, responsibilities, does that makes that the oneself clinging to this life? What do you think? It is something more than that, or something more subtle than that, or even those are included, then there are many more others that defining as a clinging to this life. I mean, eating 3 meals a day, it is about activities of this life. It's activities of the today and this life, and having a concern about that, just making sure that you prepare 3 meals. Does that does that makes you not a practitioner? Not a practitioner of Dharma? Just getting ready for your job and spend I don't know how many hours, but maybe 9 to 5, just fully concerned, fully concentrated to fulfill the job requirements. Does that put you in the position of not a Dharma practitioner? And the moment you wake up, those of you who have children need to send to school. I mean, it's very much, the whole energy about your children, preparing breakfast, then, getting ready for school and sending them to school, then come back and cleaning and blah, blah, blah. Does that make you a not practitioner? Then many of you do travelings, travelings, travel to India, travel to Nepal, travel to Australia, travel to Europe, and there are a lot of preparations, a lot of dedications, and a lot of concentrations you need to put on that. Does that make you not a Dharma practitioner? Mm-hmm. So I don't think, I mean, it depends. I think it depends what kind of, quality of your intention, your motivation, and how the quality of how your mind engage of these necessities, of these responsibilities of day-to-day life. I think that will define whether oneself is still qualified to be a Dharma practitioner or non-Dharma practitioner. Just the responsibility itself, I think there's I think it cannot define, whether you are a practitioner or not. I don't think so. Mm. Even on top of even those of the labeled Dharma practices, like such as making waterfall offerings, doing prostrations, and doing sadhana practices, doing retreats, doing Dharma teachings, attending Dharma course retreats, holding mala, doing circumambulation. That too can go either way, and is very much depend on the quality of motivation, quality of intention, and quality of the mindfulness when you are conducting those activities, and the dedication of those activities. I think that will define equally to those of the ordinary, responsibilities. Just now we're talking about like preparing food, etc. From the actions that we perform by nature, all of them, there's no defining of negative or positive. Even the Dharma practices, circumambulations, from the object side, the action that we perform physically, it looks, I mean, it looks virtue. I mean, it is kind of virtue, but then it can be so negative if our intention is mistake. If our dedication of that practice, become unwholesome, become non-dharma. Then even that just preparing a meal, but by the nature of the action, there's nothing to do with Dharma. But then if we have the Dharma intention, if our motivation is virtuous, then it becomes virtuous action. If the motivation is Dharma motivation, then it becomes a Dharma action. Even cooking become a Dharma practice. Taking care of children can become Dharma practice. Going for a job can become Dharma practice. But if our motivation is wrong, then all those waterfall offering, setting of altar, reciting mantra, doing retreat, doing study of Dharma, including receiving initiations, including, even wearing robes, becoming Sangha. If the motivation is wrong, all can be negative, all can be non-Dharma. And the person who is engaging that become a non-practitioner, not a practitioner. It's just labeled as a practitioner, but it's not a practitioner. And someone who just doing ordinary thing, if has the Dharma motivation, even though may not label as a practitioner, but he or she is practitioner and he or she is practicing. So therefore, the motivation is the main thing. The dedication is the main thing, and the mindfulness during the performing of the action is the main thing. You see, so so here what is the motivation? What is the intention? What is the dedication from your heart can go wrong or can make even labeled Dharma practice become a non-Dharma, and even labeled Dharma practitioner become non-practitioner. Start from the wrong motivation, such like the 8 holy concern, or anything that is initiated by attachment, that will lead to holy concern. Anything that initiated by aversion, anger, like conceit, malice, or wrong view, and that will lead to that will make the concern become holy concern, and that will make the activities as a non-Dharma activities, and the person become a non-practitioner. And so that's the key thing, So, and that also wonderful that the main defining of Dharma or non-Dharma, or even altruistic Dharma or ordinary Dharma, very much dependent on the motivation. Then each and every individual here, every one of us will put it into an equal opportunity to practice Dharma, and also will put into an equal, vulnerability towards becoming a non-Dharma practitioner. Even someone like me wearing a robe, become a monk, if my motivation is not always clear, intact, aligns with the Dharma, I can become a non-Dharma practitioner, and I can be committing, only cause of samsara while wearing the robe and while claiming I am as a monk. You see, so therefore, even if you are someone that who really have no time to, no opportunity to become Sangha, or no opportunity to do retreat, or not even have an opportunity to do even read Dharma books or recite mantras, because of your day-to-day is fully occupied with your ordinary responsibility, like children, work, but then your heart is pure, with pure love, pure compassion, and pure heart, being in the service of the person, the service to the children. Your heart is like is so pure that that's completely free of any conceit, malice, or attachment, aversion. Then, even though you are not wearing the robes, you're not conducting any form of retreats or whatever, but then all of your day-to-day efforts, everything can turn into a cause of enlightenment, even without naming it, isn't it? You all agree? Yeah. So the main thing is the heart. So main thing is the motivation. Yeah. So this has to be very clear. One thing that need to be clear, that I have the full potential to achieve even the highest state of liberation, which is enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. I have the basis and the capability to be in the service of all sentient beings' happiness. I have the capability, I have the potential, full potential, whatever lifestyle I may have, whatever, position in the life that you are, one thing that has to make sure that is that I have the full potential, as long as I remain pure on the path, pure on the path of all the goodness, through the pure intention, through the pure mind of being mindfulness in my day-to-day life, day-to-day responsibility, being free of those negative emotions. As long as I am able to live life like that, I too can become Buddha. I too can become Bodhisattva. And I too, even at this very stage, I can be in the service of all sentient beings. I can be in the service of, service of Dharma. You see, so that's something that I think always, to remember. You see, then of course, whenever there's opportunity, then try to accumulate, as many virtues as possible, as many Dharma as possible, including, becoming, doing many retreats, becoming Sangha, whatever is conducive for you. And the more that you gather all those virtues, the quicker, the accomplishments of all the results, including of enlightenment, like that. So anyway, if you cling to this life, uh, so if so whatever you do to fulfill, the fulfill only for this life's purpose. When you think, fulfill only this life's purpose, then naturally our heart will be, knowingly or unknowingly, will be contaminated by the delusions like attachment. Then, like such as ignorant, such as jealousy, such as egoistic pride, and all those elements naturally will intrude. So that is the reason why that will make you as a non-practitioner of the Dharma. You see, So the including of the wrong view. You see, if we just do everything just for the purpose of this life, this, just believing, the ultimate goal to be achieved is only to do within this lifetime's purpose. So there's no sense of idea about the existence of the continuation, beyond this lifetime's consciousness, beyond this lifetime's meaning. So that carries the wrong view, the ignorant, not understanding the reality, the absolute reality. The absolute reality is the reality of, even in relation to the life, is a reality of continuation from beyond this lifetime. You see. Yeah. So it carries a lot of wrong view in a very subtle level. There's a permanent grasping, permanent grasping to the impermanent nature. Then there's sense of inherent, true existence only about, in the context of this very life. So our mind naturally become narrow-minded. It is due to the not having the openness, which is, not having the wisdom, rather is enveloped within that ignorant. And due to that reason, then it cannot become a Dharma. It cannot bring the benefit that is supposed to be most beneficial, which is the benefit beyond this lifetime. The benefit within this lifetime, then there's no need. The limited benefit that we are talking about just within this lifetime, then no need the Dharma to be, to be part of the practice to do that. You see, so when you introduce to Dharma, then the maximum benefit out of the Dharma to be actualized, and that has to be beyond this lifetime's benefit. Okay. So if you cling to the three realms, the three wall, formless, and the desire wall, and that is not renunciation. So here the renunciation is in relation to renouncing the existing, the contaminated aggregates of the three wall, renouncing the delusion and the karma. So so the first line, when we talk about the clinging in relation to this very lifetime is concerned, all the teaching in relation to the small capable beings path, contained within the first line. The second line, if you cling to the three realms, then the teaching in relation to the middle capable beings path, the limitations of the samsara, the six realm, limitations of karma, limitations of the delusions. So as long as there's no renunciation, you won't able to overcome the karma. You won't able to overcome the delusion. Then you won't able to overcome the three walls. So renunciation is the main part. The middle length, what do you call, the middle capable beings path, the renunciation that emphasized from the middle capable beings path is the in certain context it also called a great renunciation. In connection to the small renunciation, renouncing this very lifetime's purpose and pursuing the practices for the benefit of the future lifetime, that renunciation is the small renunciation. Then renunciation in relation to pursuing the freedom from all the 6 realms by renouncing the entire duty of the karma, delusion, and the result, the 6 realms, is understood as also great renunciation, even though it is the teaching from the middle capable beings path. So, so the earlier one, it contained teaching like a refuge. The main teachings is about refuge. The second line, the teaching, the middle capable beings teaching, the main teachings are the like karma, Four Noble Truth, then the 12 link of interdependent existence. So all those teachings, contain there. So then if you cling to the self-interest, you are not a bodhisattva. So even you have the small and middle capable beings path, renunciation, and your objective of life and the practices for liberation, but it is still limited interest purpose, and that is not the full potential of our being. Our full potential of being, has the capability to achieve Bodhisattva's path and achieving full enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. In relation to that, then, even you manage to overcome the 3 walls and achieve liberation, understood that it still is within the self-interest. And due to unable to express or utilize the full potential of achieving enlightenment, and that also has to be in that self-interest, even as achieving liberation, self-liberation also need to be overcome. So therefore, the greatest heart among all the heart is the Bodhisattva's heart, bodhicitta. And anything that obstacle to achieve that heart limits, our true potentials. So therefore, even this self-interest, such as clinging to the self-interest, pursuing just a nirvana, also should be overcome, because that obstacle to becoming bodhisattva. So that's the third clinging. And that third line, it contained entire teachings taught from the higher capable beings path. Here even it contained the teachings of the Tantra, especially the teachings on bodhicitta, the Tonglen practices, then include the resultant, the bodhisattva path, which is the tantric path. All the 4 classes of Tantra also contained within this teaching. Then the 4th line, if grasping arises, it is not the view. So the view here, the general view of the Buddhists, as someone else who followed the Buddha's path, Buddha's teaching, then the view of interdependent existence has to be intact within our understanding how things exist. Even though the understanding of the interdependent existence can be varieties, very shallow one, the gross one, to the extensive one, but basic assertion of understanding how things exist to be understood through the view of an existing interdependently existent, not independently existent, not truly existent. So as long as we have the grasping like such as independently existent, truly existent, permanently existent, then inherently existent, autonomically existent, substantially existent, then you have a wrong view. And all those, if you hold any of those views, then you have you do not have the right view in relation to the view that Buddha have taught us. So if you have studied Buddhism and if you follow Buddha's teaching, then our view has to be the view that Buddha have taught. It's not only because of that we accept that Buddha have taught those views, but the view that Buddha have taught about the view of interdependent existence is the truth about its existence. It has no faults, and if we carry wrong view, that harm us, that bound us within the creations of the harm is the bound us within the creations of the karma that which will lead to suffering result. In the whole purpose of the Buddha's teaching is to liberate us from the bondage of suffering. And in order to liberate from the bondage of suffering is to liberate from the causes of the suffering, which is the karma and delusion. And where the karma is committed is through the force of delusion. And where the delusions were formed is through the wrong view. So that's the reason why wrong view need to be purified. The wrong view need to be overcome. So if you hold on to things exist as a permanent, then even in relation to our life, we see as a permanent. And by seeing as a permanent, holding the view life as a permanent, then we have the grasping of permanent. And whenever there's a changes comes to our life, and there's aversion, so the permanent grasping will develop attachment. The attachment will lead to aversion whenever the changes comes to our life, you see. And that aversion and ignorance will thicken the ignorance and will stuck into the thickness of the darkness even longer time, you see, like that. So if we hold the view of permanent, then there's not much of meaning in relation to observations of the karmic law, cause and effect. The observation of karmic law, cause and effect genuinely comes to understand if we see the things, including of our life, exist in the manner of impermanent. Impermanent means, changeable. So how to bring the changes is through creating interdependent causes and conditions. But if a life and the creator is a permanent, then there's no possible of creating causes for changes. And if you cannot create the causes for changes, then there's no possibility of liberation from samsara. There's no possibility of liberation and enlightenment. There's no possibility of freedom from misery, because it is non-changing phenomena. It's a permanent phenomena, isn't it? So, but then the wrong view of permanent is actually very gross compared to the later views, like such as the view of inherent existence, view of substantial existence, true existence. The view of permanent is actually very core, not a subtle, but still its impact can be so huge, and very much we as ordinary or especially those who don't have much introduction to emptiness view, didn't really analyze and meditate well about emptiness. Our main cause of our sufferings is in relation to the view holding on to holding on person and phenomena and experiences as a permanent. And the permanent grasping is the main root cause that even in our day-to-day life that we go through troubles, we go through sufferings. When things doesn't go in our way, then there's intense suffering. When the suffering comes in our way, there's intense suffering. When the happiness goes away, there's intense suffering. Where this suffering, where this intense, feel of suffering comes from, and not from the actual events of the changes. The main suffering comes from the grasping of the permanent. Permanent grasping is the main cause. That see the intensity in relation to the changes. Something goes away that which we do not wish to go away. The unacceptance, the heart of not able to accept the changes is the one that actually causes suffering. You see, when happiness comes in our way, we have this tendency of holding on to it. We never want this to go away. It's a permanent grasping. See, this youthful body, we have the permanent grasping of always to remain youthful. And when age is happen, we feel unhappy. This healthy body, holding on to this healthy body, expectations of the healthy body is a permanent grasping. When the healthy body, comes in the way of some sicknesses, that unacceptance, unable to accept that changes is the permanent grasping, which will bring so much of fear, so much of suffering in relation to that. So that applies in relation to, the relation between two persons, in relation to everything that we experience in our day-to-day life, very much function on the basis of wrong view of permanent grasping. So due to that, so much of overwhelming samsara that we need to, overwhelming suffering that we need to experience. If we don't have the permanent grasping, if we don't have the wrong view of permanent grasping, we will experience a lot of calmness in the reality of changes, because of the power of acceptance, or because of the power of the wisdom of having a correct view. If good thing comes in our way, we accept very much in the neutral way, and we enjoy that benefit in the longer time. If bad thing comes in our way, we also accept very neutral way, and the bad thing won't be so bad as how the wrong view will exaggerate. You see, so there's so much of a benefit in immediate level, having the right view, and not because of it's a view of Buddha, but it's just it is a right view. It carries the benefit. You see, so much suffering that we suffer because of wrong view of seeing impermanent as permanent. Then there's so much of suffering we experience, seeing impure as a pure. So seeing impure as a pure also, the main root mind is actually permanent grasping. That unable to open our wisdom aspect of the mind to see, the truth about the impurity. because of grasping as impure as pure, then there's a suffering, including to the wrong view of self as an inherent existence. Ultimately, this wrong view also lead by the wrong view of permanent grasping, So, so therefore, if grasping arises, then it is not a view. You see, so the view of interdependently existing, everything has a reason. Everything understood that it is created by, cause and effect and cause and conditions. So you see, so if the cause and conditions are right, then the situation that which we wish to change will be able to change. If the situation we do not want to change, if we create the right cause and condition, the situation won't change. You see, if we create the cause and condition to experience the situations of enlightenment, which is everlasting happiness, then everlasting happiness really will come in our way, and everlasting happiness won't go away if we create a cause and condition, the interdependent cause and condition. If we truly want to not to suffer at all, including of the samsara, then we won't suffer if we create the interdependent cause and condition. So samsara and suffering also can be overcome, and liberation and enlightenment also can be achieved. So these are the benefit of why you need to have a right view. So if you have wrong view, then you're very much in the environment of misery like that. Okay, so this is it. Any question? Then after that, maybe have a, I don't know, 5 minutes. You all, I don't know, some of the other participants from which regions, but as for Tasmania, you already had your lunch, so maybe you can have a short break. I don't know whether Belinda, 5-minute break, or what do you think?
I think that's good, Geshe.
Okay,
Maybe
5-minute break.
short break for everybody.
Yeah. But before go to the break, you have any questions? Any questions in relation to what we have just discussed, or you've been discussing, or you've been studying? Then maybe the next session, maybe we just read swiftly of the commentary. Any question, or we just go for break? If no question, we go for break.
People can put a question in the chat, or just
And
unmute.
if someone can have to read, whenever can have to read for me.
Yeah, you can do, or you can just unmute and talk to Geshe like that. If you're not too shy. Maybe you're too shy today, Geshe.
No problem.
Maybe we'll have questions after a short break.
Okay, that's good.
Let's see,
idea.
just in case.
That's a good idea. Okay.
All
We
right.
have a short break. Okay.
Okay.
See you
Thank you,
soon.
Geshe.
Thank you.
Chinese acupuncture traditional purpose found Japanese training because Australian but he went to China for 8 years before training, and he did a year in hospitals and then COVID hit, and he didn't go back to the he's in Tasmania. Yeah. So he's down because
Oh, Tashi delay. Hello.
There's a delay, Geshe.
Yeah,
I have a couple of questions
please.
from the audience, one in the chat from somebody online and one in person. Is that okay?
Sure.
And go ahead with them now.
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is one in the chat from Suzanne, and it says, Dear Geshe, please can you explain what is your advice regarding organ donation at the time of death? Where the organs, the corneas, the kidney, or the liver need to be harvested almost immediately at the medical clinic, death stage. So on the one hand, one is not supposed to disturb the body during this process of dying, and these two processes seem contradictory.
Okay. Yeah. For organ donation, the dying person the dying person intend to dedicate donate the organ, then it has to be out of compassion to benefit others' well-being. Then compassion will overpower any other limitations. So therefore, even the body need to be disturbed, body need to be disturbed immediately from all the other, how to say, the usual advice. If someone is a practitioner, then to keep the physical body without moving, without moving, or without bringing any kind of distractions, like such as how to say like operation, like cutting, etc., etc. So due to the power of the compassion, even someone as a practitioner, then it will not disturb your meditation on clear light, or the benefit of the meditation from clear light, even though the clear light process, which conduct through the force of meditation, may not happen that way, but then the clear light could occur before any other the activities involved. So in short, the organ donation is very powerful, very beneficial, and it will not disturb the practice. It will not disturb the benefit of the clear light meditation or clear light benefits. So if someone intend to do that, I think it is really meaningful to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you.
So I have one question here. If you've been diagnosed with with a blockage. What was it? A blockage in the heart? And what was the blockage?
Yeah, if there's a blockage, yeah.
An energetic blockage in your heart, a physical energetic blockage in your heart. Does that affect your development of the practice of bodhicitta or developing a good heart, things like that?
No.
No.
Yeah, no. So
It's the body.
the development of bodhicitta, development of the utilizing the benefit of the practice in relation to channels and chakras and clear light in such a how to say mature stage of the practitioner, then the external physical kind of nervous system, it doesn't matter. It doesn't impact. Well, as a beginner, while we are training channels and chakras and clear light, then yes, the normal or the gross channels and chakras function does affect, and it is necessary to have a intake of those like healthy body. But then after training well, and when the maturity of the meditation of wisdom is already developed within the practitioners, then experiencing the resultant impact of those meditation wisdom, then the gross physical body is not necessary. It won't affect, as I mentioned before, even to the experience of clear light. When the training is accomplished, or certain meritorious power is there, like such as powerful compassion is there, then those necessary conditions are timely achieved even before any of the secondary obstacles manifest, like such as physical health, or even the spiritual death. All this will not become obstacle.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Geshe. I have another question in the chat from Lisa.
Sure.
And she says, how to generate the mind of enlightenment as we are constantly caught. Where are we caught? Sorry, caught in the iron net of self-grasping due to our society challenging environment.
Yeah. So in fact, to the development of the mind of enlightenment, which is talking about bodhicitta, the difficult environment, in fact, is the best environment. The samsaric environment, the environment of difficult people, difficult society, and all these are in fact is the most conducive environment. Is given in the scriptures, given example as a lotus and a mud. Lotus is as pure, as beautiful as bodhicitta, and the lotus only blossom in the mud. Will not blossom in the clear water. So bodhicitta will blossom in the very difficult environment, like our samsaric world. But yes, initial time, when we are initially training on the bodhicitta, then yes, difficult environment can be overwhelmingly challenging. Can be easily to get discouraged, easily get distracted, and feel very hard to able to sustain the manifestations of the bodhicitta, even though may manifest maybe just momentarily, but so difficult to sustain because the environment is so harsh. So for that, then faith is very important. the environment of the internal environment. This external environment is so difficult. So we need to accumulate the internal conducive environment, which is faith. The faith also not the blind kind of faith. Faith that developed through reasoning. The reason is reason about the benefit of bodhicitta, benefit of enlightenment. All the advantage of bodhicitta, and learning the disadvantage of not having bodhicitta. So if we have all the reasons how beneficial to even cultivate one moment of bodhicitta, the benefit that the whole world will receive, whole sentient being will receive, especially in the most difficult time, in the most difficult environment. What needed the most beneficial thing that we can offer is the bodhicitta, the merit you accumulated through bodhicitta. Even the slightest expressions of the contact in relation to bodhicitta, like such as compassion is the expressions of bodhicitta. Love is expressions of bodhicitta. Equanimity, expressions of bodhicitta. Positivity is expressions of bodhicitta. Even it can be just just a moment of such expression to those difficult people, in those difficult environment. How powerful it can be. How powerful it can be. As if that's the only thing is the most powerful, and that's the only thing actually you can able to contribute to purify the difficult world, the difficult people, the difficult situation. So by understanding the benefit and the advantage of bodhicitta, then from there you develop a faith in bodhicitta. You develop faith. There are like three types of faith we talk. We normally discuss three types of faith. You see, faith is faith that aspiring to have that mind, and have that mind just like the Arya Bodhisattvas, which their bodhicitta will never degenerate. So because of you know so well all this reason, it really convince you, and the faith develop from there. So now the faith expressing, yes, it is difficult time, is difficult place. Yes, I am beginner. Yes, I'm like completely surrounded by all those environment that only can discourage me, only can destroy my bodhicitta, but I cannot destroy it. I have to uphold it, because this is the best thing to uphold it, because this is the most beneficial for me, most beneficial for the people that you're dealing with, the environment where you are in. This is the best thing that you can offer. So, and may I able to have that bodhicitta just like the Arya Bodhisattva. So in order to do that, then I need to be more mindful. I need to be more mindful of reminding the importance of having the bodhicitta again and again. Like such as like how important to take a breath in and out in order to sustain the life. Even though the life can be so in almost like ending the life, but how, with intense effort that you will try to breathe, even how slowly, how slow you need to breathe. Also, you will try to breathe in and out in order to survive that life, in order to not to lose that life, isn't it? So similar way is taking away the life of bodhicitta by this intense environment, and as equal, you even how hard also you try to make sure that you still remember the bodhicitta, you still try to stay in that attitude, You still try to, like if because of the situation so intense that is bringing anger, you try to use that bodhicitta mind as a water to eliminate the, the fire of the anger. If it is something about to do attachment, then you try to, see the faults of the attachment and try to, pacify yourself, from that desire, etc. If it's fading away, your inspiration of bodhicitta in the darkness, like the ignorant, then that the mindfulness can bring the light, light to flash the light, and that could be like let you read the Buddhist Avacharya, like first chapter, like make yourself at least okay. I just stay away from this, I just run away at least for 5 minutes and just read, open the text, or try to close your eye and try to remember your gurus, or remember the bodhisattvas, remember those auspicious times that you had in your life, something that which to do with inspirations of bodhicitta. So it's like flash of light that let you see in the midst of like leading to the darkness, that you still see some light that that remind you to again bring you back to your value of bodhicitta, like that, you see. So so faith, like faith in that kind of manner, you see. So then the faith understanding that all these disturbances, the inconvenience around the world, compared to your innate power of who you are, is actually very, very minor. The power that your innate being is a bodhisattva being, is an enlightened being, dharmakaya being, isn't it? And that is so powerful that it never destroy in the past, it never destroy in the present, it will never destroy in the future. In the past, very much all of us, have been to hell realm, even in the Vajra hell realm. In the past, maybe all of us may have remained in the Vajra hell realm for eons lifetime, but this innate value of your dharmakaya, the bodhicitta, have never destroyed, never taken away. Even eons of lifetime in the destructions of hell realm also didn't take away. Unbelievable negative emotions came in our way. Even in just this life, there are certain times the anger is like so powerful. It's like entire merit and goodness is completely destroyed. But one thing is for sure that never destroyed is our innate Buddha nature, which carry the bodhicitta nature and the emptiness nature, the wisdom nature, never destroyed. You see, we have reincarnated many lifetimes. You see, and we die with sickness, die with many different ways, but your innate being, the bodhicitta being, the Buddha being, the dharmakaya being, never died, never gone away, and will never go away in the future. So now you have to be confident to yourself. You have faith to yourself that all this difficult time, all this difficult environment in the world, no way going to destroy this. No way going to destroy this value. Even though I feel it's so intense, even though I feel like I'm losing bodhicitta, but just losing in your conceptual mind, losing in your ordinary mind only. It's not losing from you. It's not losing from your innate value. You see, so we need to remind like that. Yeah, there are many times it's like feel like hopeless. Oh, enlightenment hopeless. It's practicing Dharma is hopeless. Being good person is hopeless. Being compassionate, forgiving, hopeless, because you are tested every now and then, and tested in the most intense way, and it is a bit of unbearable to this ordinary mind. You know, we will again and again, we will come into that kind of position in our day-to-day life. And sometimes nothing to do with the outer situation. It's even our own mind, our own ordinary delusional thinking will put us into that kind of test. So therefore, we need to use the faith that which developed through learning the Dharma, learning the quality of bodhicitta, learning it is nature, which is indestructible, value. Then you get reminded and establish the confidence in ourselves. Then you become stronger than before. Each time such challenge comes in your way, you take as a boost to your bodhisattva quality. Each time the situation try to put you down, you come back even stronger than before. You see, you become much more stronger each time. You see, so that's in relation to our health problem, in relation to financial problem, in relation to relationship problem, in relation to the world outer situations, whatever is going on, then in relation to our delusions, in relation to our anger, in relation to our attachment, in relation to our depression, in relation to, jealousy, etc., etc. Each time it appears, you shouldn't lose faith in yourself. You shouldn't lose faith in your bodhicitta. You shouldn't lose faith in your Buddha nature, your Buddha potential. Yeah, this is very, very important. You see, so if we're able to do that, then you'll be surprised yourself. Until the best surprise is that your bodhicitta become, even in our ordinary mind, your bodhicitta becomes sustainable bodhicitta. In fact, that's the way that you will lead to becoming the conventional bodhicitta, by exposing your ultimate bodhicitta into even this ordinary life, in ordinary world. Like our gurus, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, like Gyaltsen Lama Sopa Rinpoche, you see, they are carrying the ordinary body like our body. They get sick, they get old, and they go through so much of challenge in their life. We know how His Holiness Dalai Lama go through such challenges, how Gyaltsen Lama Sopa Rinpoche go through such challenges. But then each time, they become even stronger and stronger, and more altruistic, and more joyful, more and more confident, and more power of their quality, that which even impact us, each and every one of us, impacted by their living example. They never lost from all these distractions. They never lose from all these distractions. You see, they are also living in the same world we are living in. And they have more challenges than us. They have more responsibility than us. Even in a conventional world, even in a conventional world. You see, if we need to take care of 3 or 4 family, like His Holiness Dalai Lama need to take care of whole world as his family. Like Lama Sopa Rinpoche, or whole world, like whole FPMD, and how many thousands of people there. Like he need to manage how many homes. Like Rinpoche has to manage 160 over mandalas. Like, and if we feel so difficult to manage one house, one home, is cannot. Or if you have even 10 house, it's okay. It's still very small, very small. Compare how our gurus they manage, many homes. If you have a difficulty of managing 10 members of family, it's very small. Our guru has thousands of members of family. You see, and if we feel very heartbroken because of somehow, how much try to be a good person, how much try to be the best in the family, so altruistic, try to serve everybody, try to forgive everything, blah, 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 blah. And still everybody taking advantage of you. Everybody kind of like put you aside. No, compared to our gurus, gurus, I mean, helping everybody, but still people don't appreciate it. Still people misbehave. It's still, like people, the disciples of our gurus, some they take vow. Then the vow is such an important commitment of the family, but then some they give up the vows. Some they meet the Dharma, introduce the Dharma, meet the Dharma. It's a kind of like introduce you to a job, and then after that you give up the job and you say I'm still have like poverty of no job. Like introduced to Dharma, then give up the Dharma, then you still complain and the world is so miserable. So how would our gurus how will feel? But they never discourage. They will continue to find way to bring them onto the path, bring them on the right path, like that, you see. And some more to the more difficult people, they express their care and their time even more than anybody else. So if we are in the environment of difficult people, then you just like the gurus, take as opportunity to really like take as a sadhana for us to improve ourselves also, so we need to have faith in ourselves, you see. So doesn't just take everything as a sadhana practice, sadhana test practice, wherever you are, whatever situation you are, and also they are impermanent nature, as mentioned before. It's nature lies impermanent. How difficult, it will never remain as difficult like that. Either they will live from that difficulty from you, or either you will live from that difficulty from them. So it's really temporal. Even 1 year also is very temporal. Even 10 years also very temporal. It will change. It will not remain like that. Even the world now looks so difficult, but then again, we never lose faith, because this difficulty is not in a permanent nature. It's all impermanent nature. You see, we even have a faith that one day every single living being will be liberated. Every single living being will achieve enlightenment. Samsara has nobody in samsara. All the Buddhas has no job in samsara. That day will also come. So you see. So like that. So stay strong.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Geshe. I have another question on the line from online.
Sure.
Is it okay? Let's see. So while all aspects of the Noble Eightfold Path are equally important, which one would serve as the solid foundation for practice? Often practitioners struggle to develop right view, such as the view of emptiness.
I think right view is actually is the most difficult, but also serve as the main foundation. Right view is not only talking about emptiness, right view of interdependent also. I mean, of course, ultimately talking about emptiness, but it's also talking about interconnectivityness. Everything is like conditional, karmic law, cause and effect. Relationship, etc. So view of like impermanent, view of understanding of conventional, the relative world, view of understanding of the ultimate relative world, ultimate world and relative world. So sometimes we just like, if we say emptiness, it sounds like very hard, very difficult, and it's something that which like only advanced learners can understand. The understanding of impermanent itself is also is a right view. When you have that, then it will solve a lot of problem. The compassion also develop from there, wisdom also develop from there. Then from there, then right speech, right action, everything will come. Then when we say right thinking is in relation to attitude, in relation to view, both. So, so these are important. So the right speech, right actions are led by right thinking. If we don't have a right view and right thinking, no way we will speak rightly, and we will behave correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for the questions in the chat anyway for now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else individually? You have any question? You can share. Otherwise, then I will just read through the text. Okay, so maybe we better read. So this one is the commentary to the Four Root Line. This commentary is composed by the Venerable Gyaltsen Zopa Gyaltsen, departing from the Four Clingings. So I think there are in this text, the text that I have is about maybe 29 verses. So from 1 to 3rd is a preliminary teaching. Then verse 4 to verse 13 is the teaching in relation to the first clinging to this life. Then verse 14 to verse 22 is the clinging in relation to the three woe. Verse 23 to 24, the clinging to the self-interest. Then verse 25 to 29 is the clinging in relation to wrong view. Yeah, so it says like this. Verse 1, my teacher who are so kind, meditation deities so compassionate. To you I go for refuge from my heart. Pray, bestow your blessing upon me. So my teacher, so the great Sakyapa, I think talking about talking about Sajjan Kunga Nyingpo. Then Sajjan Kunga Nyingpo, who are so kind to pass down, preserve the lineage of this teaching, both in learning as well as in realizing the path, realization. Then the meditation deity is so compassionate. So meditation deity here can understand as a Manjushri, because the Manjushri is the who channeled the lineage of this teaching. Who the Manjushri deity was the meditation deity of the root lineage master, Sajjan Kunga Nyingpo. So here the Chizun Tapa Gyaltsen saying, I go for refuge from my heart, pray and bestow. So pray that his composition clear all the obstacles, and his composition may able to bring the benefit as intended, the blessing that carries through the lineage master. Bestow your blessing upon me. So, do that, then the guru and the deity, bless him. Then verse 2, conduct contrary to the teaching has no use. So, whatever you speak, whatever physical actions or any actions related to the world, related to the others, contrary to the teachings of the Buddha, or in other words, the teachings of the three Tipitaka, or the or the teaching that which is contrary to the practice of three higher training, the higher training of morality, concentration, wisdom. or teaching, or the conduct that which contrary to moralless, then no mindfulness in the value of virtue or compassion, in the concern of well-being of sentient being. Then the conduct that which against the conduct that against the right view, all this has no use for the benefit of this life's happiness, no use for the benefit of future lives benefits, like achieving higher rebirths, and no use for the liberation and enlightenment. So therefore, thus act in accordance with the teaching. So according with the teaching, again, is simply meaning have moral conduct, have mindfulness, and have a right view. There is an instruction on parting from the four clinging. I offer this to you very ear. Yeah, so the lineage of the teaching is in relation to the parting from the four clingings or four attachment, and want to transmit this. In fact, in the earlier time, this teaching is like instructional teaching, hardly spoken, publicly. It regarded like a golden Dharma, and it is spoken only to the ripened disciples, from whispering to the ear, like that. Verse 3 says, if you cling to this life, you are not practitioner. So this is the root line. If you cling to the three realms, that is not renunciation. If you cling to sub-interest, you are not bodhisattva. If grasping arises, it is not the view. So as briefly talk about that during the last session. So then verse 4, which is specifically elaborating to the understanding of the first line, the clinging to this life. So it says, first, not cling to this life. Not cling to this life. Ethical discipline, study, reflection, and meditation, he who's pursue this for this life's sake is not a practitioner. So cast this aside. So any of us, if our purpose of learning Buddha Dharma or practicing Buddha Dharma, and it is to fulfill the ultimate intent of the Buddha, which is to liberate us to enlightenment and overcome samsara, it is causes. Then when we study Dharma, when we do reflections or even do meditations and retreats, all should be for the benefit of the future lifetime's benefit. So never to study Dharma, never to do the reflections on the Dharma, meditation on Dharma, practice of sadhana, practice of sutra, tantra. All this shouldn't be dedicated for this lifetime's purpose or benefit. Should dedicate for the benefit of the future lifetime's benefit. So that doesn't mean that the benefit for this life will be not there. By dedicating for future lifetime's benefit, all the benefit that we can receive in this life will comes in best way. You see. So let's say even you study Lamrim and you do Lamrim retreats and you try to conduct your body, speech, and mind in relation to the guideline of the Lamrim. The motivation has to be for future lifetimes benefit, beyond this lifetime's benefit. The best is to motivate and dedicate for enlightenment, if not at least for liberation, if not at least for higher rebirth in future lifetime. So then that way, then you become a Dharma practitioner. Your practice will become a cause of greater benefit. Otherwise, it will be a benefit for just a temporal benefit, one lifetime benefit only. And it will also have a stain of worldly concern, whether you know or not know. The moment you start to do things only for this lifetime's benefit or within this lifetime's benefit, then knowingly or unknowingly, there will be a contamination of worldly concern. By being so, then whatever practice we do, every effort become cause of samsara, not become cause of liberation. And because of that, so even if we take long life initiation just to have a long life for this lifetime's benefit, because you want to be in this world for longer periods so that you can be with your family, etc., etc. So these are not a Dharma motivation. If you meditate, if you receive a long life initiation like Vaitara, Amitayu, Namjalma, for the purpose of having a long life to fulfill all the tasks of the Dharma, which is beneficial beyond this lifetime, up to enlightenment, then the long life initiation and the practice become pure Dharma practice, and it will bring immense of benefit, like that. So if you do pilgrimage, just to get away from your city, just to sightseeing, just to enjoy the company of friends, and just experience a new place, just that much, then it's not a Dharma practice. And some more that if you do this for just to bring some happiness for now, then or just to kind of able to visit many places, then it's not a Dharma practice. It's not necessarily non-virtue, but it's not a Dharma practice. So it won't be cause of enlightenment in just that way. You see, but if you do pilgrimage for the benefit of enlightenment, for the benefit of freedom from the samsara self-existent, then all the earlier benefit also will enjoy. And plus, there's so many other great benefits, including enlightenment, able to enjoy. An example, like that. So, verse 5. First, to explain ethical discipline is the root of the higher transmigration. It is the staircase to liberation. It is the antidote to suffering. So, in order to overcome the clinging to this life, then we need certain disciplined, certain kind of guideline to make sure that the every doings of now will not limited by the first clinging, is to have the discipline of the three higher trainings. So higher training of discipline, this is the higher training of discipline. Explain the ethical discipline is the root of the higher transmigration. So when you train in a higher training of ethics, then a higher training of concentration will come in our way. Higher training of wisdom will come in our way. All the stages of the path, the development will come in our way. Without the ethical discipline, and then not even a higher rebirth can achieve in next life. Not only that, cannot even enjoy, genuine happiness in this life. Just a matter of time when you don't have ethics, we'll get into a lot of troubles, a lot of misdoings, misbehaviors, so ethic is most important. So especially for Dharma practice, then ethic is a foundation. So therefore, three kind of ethics were introduced, in accordance with the Dharma: individual liberation vows or ethics, Bodhisattva vows or ethics, tantric vows of ethics, So starting from refuge, 5-lay vows, Sangha vows, are the individual liberation ethics or the precepts or the vows. Then Bodhisattva vows, there are so many vows that can take advantage to enjoy the benefit of many great benefits, like 46 secondary vows, 18 root vows, then tantric vows in relation to the 5 Dhyani Buddha, then guru-disciple precepts. All these are taught in the Buddha's teaching in order to make our life most meaningful and in order to have the good foundation to achieve all the higher knowledge, higher realizations, including enlightenment. So therefore, it is the root of the higher transmigrations, so even to achieve higher transmigration like human, God, and demigod, by overcoming the rebirth in 3 lower realms, animal, hungry ghost, hell realm, the main cause is ethics, moral ethics. The second cause of higher migration is practice of generosity, the practice that actually taught from the Bodhisattva precept, practice of like generosity, etc. Whether you are introduced Bodhisattva's path or not, even to achieve higher rebirth, then practice of generosity serve as one of very powerful cause to achieve higher rebirths. Then aspiration. The third main cause is you need to have a sense of renunciation, understanding the limitations of 3 lower realms, and aspiration or the aspire to achieve higher rebirth like human, God, demigod, especially precious human rebirth, by understanding the advantage, which understanding as a perfect rebirth to accomplish the path, both Sutra and Tantra, achieve enlightenment, so such trainings can be applied. When you have the moral training, then it is a staircase to liberation. So not only achieve high migrated state of life, but also liberation will be achieved. The more the ethical discipline you have, the more the possibility of achieving liberation. You see, is the antidote to all the sufferings. You see, so by practicing individual liberation vow, like even just a refuge, is definitely not to born in 3 lower realms and born in higher rebirths. By practicing the moral precept in relation to Bodhisattva, it was a moral precept to like such as the higher level of individual liberation vow, like such as 5 precepts, 5-lay precepts, then the Sangha vows, then no doubt that one will achieve liberations. Then by practicing the Bodhisattva or tantric, moral precepts, Bodhisattva vows, tantric vows, then the perfect liberation of enlightenment also will be achieved. So by practicing the first level of moral precept, will overcome the suffering of suffering, then suffering of change, then entirety of the pervasive
Secondo che la
compounded
etica è
suffering.
una funzione di todo para,
Verse 6.
para liberarse.
So you
El
cannot
antídoto de todo
succeed
sufrimiento.
without ethical discipline. As for ethical discipline, that cling to this life, is the root is the eightfold concern. It attracts accusations of immoral behaviors. Yeah, so all the benefit of the higher reborn in higher migrations, liberation, enlightenment, won't able to achieve without ethics. And if you have the ethical, even you observe ethical discipline that which attached to the worldly concern, then that will attract, sufferings, like including of the like accusations of immoral behavior, etc., etc. So even those practices of the disciplines in the three precepts, it should be practiced without the stain of worldly concern, without the stain of worldly concern, like not to practice ethical discipline for fame, gain, praise, status, etc. Not to practice just to have a comfortable this life, just not to have a just to limit the trouble of this life. You see. So if we practice with the wrong motivation, or even ethical discipline with the worldly concern, then just matter of time, it will it is easy to transgress or degenerate the moral pledge, and due to that, then like such as like accusations of the immoral behavior, etc., will occur. So moral precept also should practice with correct, intention, the which infused by renunciation. So that way, then the moral precept become a precept of renunciation. So in the Vinaya Sutras, emphasize, very specifically that any precept that you take, including of refuge, lay vows, then monastery vows, bodhisattva vows, everything to be infused by mind motivation of renunciation, renouncing this life, this lifetime's benefit, renouncing, three lower realms, renouncing samsara, renouncing self-centered purpose of liberation, then all the precepts are going to be pure Dharma precepts. And such precept will able to uphold long time, will bring great benefits like that, So even when we take a refuge or individual liberation precept, even though there's not necessarily the bodhisattva intention may be there, but at least we need to have the renunciation that taught from the small capable beings path in the Lam Rim, like that. And when we take Sangha vows, like monastery vows, then on top of the small renunciation, the renunciation that taught in the middle capable beings path has to be there. Otherwise, even in the environment of the ordination, precept, one will not receive pure precept or pure vow. So how to define to receive pure vow is whether the vow become vows of renunciations or not. So the way to make sure that it become vows of renunciation, then during taking any precept, one must refresh the renunciation in our heart. So having lively the heart of renunciation, then go through the ceremony of any granting of the precept, then you receive the pure renounce vows or renounce precepts. Otherwise just become vows of name only. They say, oh, you receive refuge, but it's just a name in the name, but actually didn't receive the real vows of refuge. So if you're receiving Sangha vows, you will go through all the ceremonies, but then there's no lively the mind of renunciation, then the namely ordained vows, but not a real ordained vows. So this happened even in Buddha's time. So there are many occasions it happened whenever there's ordination happening, whenever there's a refuge ceremonies happening, people there just focusing on the ritual, but didn't focus on the motivation. Then the many individual, they receive just the vow in the name only. So since then Buddha make a how to say, it's part of a ritual within the ceremony that has to be introduced by the preceptor to the student, right, freshly, right there, just before receiving the precept, need to introduce. So after introduction, so having lively of that understanding of the renunciation, then confer the precept, then you receive it. So that goes similar when you receive initiation also, because during initiation you receive bodhisattva vows, refuge vows also, tantric vows, and bodhisattva vows. You see, so before each of the precept, then the renunciation has to be lively like that. Verse 7, it makes you jealous of those with ethical discipline. It makes your own discipline a mere pretense. It is the seed that creates a lower transmigration. So cast aside the pretense of morality. So all these things happened, whatever in the verse 7 says, if we don't have a renunciation, the mind of motivation, renunciation is a motivation at the time when you're receiving, then that will bring the danger of transgression. Then after receive, if you're lacking of mindfulness of renunciation, then that also put the individual into danger of losing the vows, giving up the vows, transgressing the vows. You see, so the renunciation has to be all the time there in our mindfulness. If someone freshly become Buddhist by taking refuge, then entire life has to be mindful, the mind of renunciation, in order not to transgress, in order not to lose the refuge precepts. Similar goes to Sangha vows, similar goes to Buddhist vows, similar goes to Tantric vow, similar goes to the relationship between Guru and disciple, the commitment, the Guru Yoga precepts. You see, so the mindfulness of renunciation is all the time has to be there, yeah, like that. So otherwise, then it's just name or it's just pretending. You have the name. So you have the name of Buddhist, but then you are not really, having the actual value of, being Buddhist, because the refuge vow is not intact as a renounce vow. The renounce of, renounce of, the karma, renounce of delusion, renounce of three low realms. At least, if you don't have that, then it's just a namely as a Buddhist, but not a really Buddhist as a practitioner. You see. So similarly, when you take Sangha vows, if you don't have renunciation of the renouncing the karma, the delusion, the samsara, and have the lively, the aspiration of liberation, then again, become a namely monk or nun, not a real monk or nun. The monk and nun, not in the practice. Similar go to bodhisattva. If you don't have a renunciation of the suffering of self and suffering of all sentient being, samsara of self and samsara of all sentient being, limitations of the delusion in self and also rest of the sentient being, then inspirations of enlightenment. When that mindfulness is not there, then again, even you receive bodhisattva vow, you become a namely only, in the name only, but not in practice. So similar goes to the tantric vows. You see, even you have a guru disciple relationship. You have a guru, you as a disciple, but then you don't have the mindfulness of the limitations of not having guru in your life, not relating to the guru in this life, then guru-disciple relationship is just merely name. There won't be the inspiration that which is supposed to fulfill the path, So renunciation is the key factor. Verse 8, he who engage in the study and reflection is enriched by the resources that enhance the knowledge. He is endowed with the light that dispels the ignorance. He is familiar with the road to guide sentient beings. Verse 9, he is endowed with the seed of the Dharmakaya. So you cannot succeed without study and reflection. As for the study and reflection that cling to this life, it provides the resources that produce conceit. Verse 10, it causes contempt for those inferior in the learning and reflection. It causes envy towards those who possess learning and reflection. It causes you to seek retinue and wealth. It is the root that brings forth lower transmigration. Verse 11, so cast aside study and reflection driven by the eight-worldly concern. All who undertake meditative practice are endowed with the antidote to the affliction. They possess the root of the path to liberation. Verse 12, they possess the seed of Buddhahood, so you cannot do without meditative practice. As for meditative practice, pursue for this life's sake, it brings distraction when residing in solitude. It makes you adept in the art of empty chatter. It makes you defame those engaged in the study and reflection. It makes you jealous towards others' meditators. So cast aside the meditative concentration of the eight-worldly concerns. So the focus is eight-worldly concern, to be free from eight-worldly concern when you practice, when you contemplate, when you study, or when you do any Dharma conduct, any Dharma activities, make sure that there's no influence of the eight-worldly concern. So now the second line, more elaborated, the commentary to the second line, the clinging to the three worlds. Verse 14, to seek nirvana, the state beyond sorrow, relinquish clinging to the three realms. You see, to relinquish clinging to the three realms, reflect on the defect of the self-existent. So our purpose is now more than just seeking higher rebirth in future life, as discussed earlier. The main practice is renunciation, and then accumulations of the good merits, good karma, by purifying negative actions, negative karma through our body, speech, and mind, like such as 10 non-virtuous action. Even when you practice that, practice without the influence of the eight-worldly concern, that will deliver in future life freedom from three lower realms, actualize higher rebirth. Now, the second is, if your purpose of practicing Dharma is more than that, is to achieve liberation, the nirvana, which is free from, not only free from the suffering of three lower realms, but suffering of all the six realms, the entire freedom from karma and delusion, then relinquish the clinging towards the three worlds. Even though we're born as a desire God, is comparing to the ordinary human life, and no question about three lower realms, it's much more glorious. Then if you reborn as a form and formless God realms, the glory of prosperity, glory of material comfort, and even the mental quality, like concentration, is far more greater than ordinary human life. But still, those realms are bound by suffering by the suffering of the contaminated aggregates. Even in the formless realm, there's no physical aggregate, but the mental aggregate is contaminated by karma and delusion. Due to that, then it falls as a samsara. It falls as it falls within the suffering realm. So there's not much, greater benefit. Even you be born in the three wall, in the highest level of the three wall, like we human being. Our human life is understood as a precious human life, more precious than the common ordinary life. But still, there's so much misery. Even we meet the Dharma, so much of meritorious environment, but still we have to go through suffering of aging, sickness, death, etc. You see, so the absolute liberation is to be born beyond this three wall, beyond the realm of this six kind of existence, the six realms of self-existent. So in order to do that, then you need to renounce not just three law realms, but renounce all entire six realms. And the way to do that is by renouncing the entire three wall, to relinquish clinging the three realms. And reflect on the defeat of self-existence. How to do that is by reflecting on the limitations of the self-existence, as mentioned briefly before. The certain realm, like such as the formless realm, especially of those of the higher gods, they may not have suffering of pain, but they have a suffering of change. But then they have suffering of pervasive compounded suffering. You see, so and pervasive compounded suffering is in fact more painful than suffering of pain, and suffering of change also is in fact more painful than suffering of pain. You see, so therefore, it's not a blissful place. It's not a place of true happiness. So therefore, seeing all those defects, then should renounce it, and aspire for genuine liberation, the nirvana. Verse 15. First is the suffering of suffering. This includes the suffering of the three lower realms. If you contemplate this well, fear will arise. For if ripen upon you, they are indeed unbearable. So this is how one should meditate like that, And so even though right now we are not born in the hell realm, but if we don't purify the karma, we have the karmic seed. Then just a matter of time, we will reborn there. Once we reborn there, how unbearable suffering the current beings in the three realms are suffering, I too one day will suffer. Therefore, I should renounce the suffering of suffering. In order to do that, I should renounce the karma. To do that, I should, cultivate the moral precept and practice the virtue that aspire for higher rebirths, like that. Verse 16, not gathering the virtuous karma that overcome this and continuing to cultivate the field of the lower realm, wherever such contact exists, speed on it. So whenever that we lose the mindfulness of seeing the limitations of lower realm and committing the causes, like such as killing, stealing, lying, sexual misconduct, all these 10 non-virtues, then right there, one should stop it. Whenever such thought arises, or whenever such karma committed through our three doors, then right there, one should overcome it. Reflect on the suffering of change. From higher realm, you can fall to the lower realm. The god Indra can be reborn as a mere earthling. Sun and moon can turn into a darkness, you see. So even we born as a creator of the world, who, many understood Indra as a creator of the world. Since it's bound within the three worlds and the karma, and once the karmic time, once the defining, the time in the god realm is over, then the exhaustions of the past merits, and ripening of all the rest of the the unfavorable karma, and will born into lower realm, like such as like a even like hell realm, like that. So no question about ourselves. At this stage, comparing the rebirth, comparing with the Indra, our life is lesser fortunate. It's in the comparison of common human being and the God realm like Indra, is the common human being is much more lesser. I mean, there are other perspective to understand the human life, especially human life we have, is much more favorable than even than the gods. But in generally within the human god demigods, the God realm is much more favorable. So how favorable it may be, it will one day will fall to the lower realm. Then no question about we as a human being, if we don't purify the karma, if we don't renounce, if we don't purify the attachment in relation to the sensual pleasure, which are the main direct cause of experiencing suffering of change, like such as like aspire for good health, aspire for long life, aspire for abundance, wealthy, blah 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 blah. Ultimately, these are all the direct root cause of suffering of change. So if we have an attachment grasping this lifetime's good health, long life, prosperity, and just matter of time, this will ruin all our virtues, and this will ruin our virtue by exhausting all our virtues. Then once the virtues exhaust, when the relative the nature of life transiting to the death, then next rebirth will be lower realm, like such as the hell realm. Even Indra can experience that. Why not us? You should think like this, then to detach, not to have a clinging of all these worldly concerns. Verse 18, the universe monarch can be reborn as a servant. This can be known by means of scripture, but cannot be perceived by other ordinary beings. Therefore, observe your own experience of human level changes. Yeah. Verse 19, a rich man turned into a poor man, a confident man changed into an anxious one. Many people unite together as one. And this list of such phenomena is inconceivable. So just look into the world that they're going today. Certain peaceful place now in the war. Just think of Nepal. What happened? Like unbelievable. What changes happened? And not only that, just into our own family life, just on our own life. The certainty we never thought that they will pass away. They pass away. We never thought that they will get sick. They got sick. Never thought that, the loved one will turn into someone that dislike you, become like enemy. Such thing happens in people's life, you see. And never thought that you will be in certain place, you are there. And never thought that, I never knew this kind of people, but these kind of people some become your partner, some become your best friend, some become your teachers, some become your students, some become blah, 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 blah. So it's like full of uncertainties, Yeah, I mean, so many kings came into this world, so many powerful people came into this world. There's so much of so obvious changes, but then we still hold on as if there's something is like solid, permanent, permanent status, permanent health, permanent life, permanent friendship, permanent enemy, permanent suffering, permanent happiness, such thing, so in short, take it easy, be in the present. If you have good health, enjoy today. If you have something to eat today. Don't keep for tomorrow. If you keep for tomorrow, it becomes toxic. If you have wealth, use meaningfully today. If you have a family member, really, if there's any inconvenience, forgive and just express love, express care, generosity, family, like that, isn't it? If someone is expressing genuine kindness, take it. If someone is someone's giving you a hard time, don't hold on to. So just live as if I have only now. So then that really kind of set our position in a many beneficial way. Happiness and come in that way. Suffering start to fade away in that way. Good things comes in that way. Bad things go away in that way. And truly you're able to experience those amazing things in our life, isn't it? Otherwise, it's just life is like full of the baggage of the past, suffering, and full of suffering of uncertainty of tomorrow. Everything like the permanent grasping, the fixation. We don't know whether we have human life for tomorrow. Not only tomorrow, even next moment. You see. So yeah. So be in the present time. Verse 20. If you if you reflect on the suffering of conditioning karmic deeds are endless, you suffer with too much, you suffer with too little, you suffer if rich, you suffer if starve. Yeah, rich also suffer, poor also suffer, have also suffer, don't have also suffer, too many also suffer, too little also suffer. Some people are too tall, they suffer. Some people are too short, they say too short, suffer. Some people, they say fat, they say fat, suffer. Some people, they say thin, they say suffer. Some people, they have too much hair, they suffer. Some people have too less hair, they suffer. I suffer with too much hair, I need to shave again and again. It's like, how come? It's too much. There's some people suffer because of their hair is like not coming. In Himalayas, people suffer because of too thin. They want to be fat. In the city, people suffer because of they are too fat. They want to get thin. It's full of suffering. So it's just simply not appreciating what you have. Simply not. That is simply meaning you are not in the present. You're not in the present. Even not appreciating what you have now, or who you are, what is happening with you. That means you're not appreciating the life that what you have. You are looking for something else you don't have, isn't it? You see. So yeah. So acceptance is also is a wisdom that actually gain within us through the heart of renunciation. When you have a heart of renunciation, then the acceptance comes in our way. There's no exaggerated expectations comes in our way. The forgiveness comes in our way. Respect comes in our way. Empathy comes in our way. Compassion comes in our way. And love comes in our way. Harmony comes in our way. So like that. So verse 21. We waste our entire life in preparation. So true. So that's what I experienced. So now that's like especially I fly too much. I fly here and there all the time, flying. So try to book a flight maybe 1 year ahead, thinking about maybe cheaper, maybe it's like, then at the same time, you book the flight with permanent grasping, like definitely that day is fixed, as if you're going to live up to that. Then as if nothing going to change, flight not going to change, you not going to change, time not going to change, day not going to change, situation not going to change. And there's a punch at the end all the time. I received so many punch of at last you need to pay more. At last there's been so much inconvenient because of it's like there's no flexibility. Oh my goodness. So now I start to like try to book. Okay, wait. Okay, book only. Okay, nearer to the dead. Life make much more easier. So anyway, I don't know whether whether it's practical or not, but that's for me. I experience like this. So similar way, sometimes we prepare. Then also we go for traveling. Well, preparation. I start to prepare like before I start the next journey. Right after end this journey, you already start to prepare. So you're living like the journey living much more earlier. How wonderful if the journey is really, really amazing thing, then it's okay, isn't it? But there's an element of stress there, It's not nice, Then the day before you leave, actually, whatever you prepare for the past month is not right. Everything need to change. You need to repack. You see? So an example, is it not that those are the sign of not living in the present moment, you see? Then sometimes we want to help somebody, we think too much, we try to prepare, but then when it comes to the actual time to help, then there's so much thing that which is not really happening what's supposed to happen, etc., etc. So yeah, anyway, I don't know whether my examples make sense or not, but I think each and every one of us has our own many good examples, so you have to use them, and the essence is try to release from the bondage of permanent grasping about time, about life, about situation, about everything, and try to live in the present time. So we waste our entire life in preparation. While in the preparation, we all die. You see, even in the death, there's no end to the preparation. For we begin preparation for the next life, you see. So for Dharma practitioner, real preparation is living in the present time in the Dharma is the real preparation for future lifetime. Otherwise, everything that we work for this lifetime alone or worldly purpose, even though we thought that those are the insurance, those are preparation, nothing is worth, nothing will benefit us. You see, the benefits are so short term, so temporary. So in short, is meaning that practice Dharma now, meaning practice Dharma now. If you practice Dharma, if your heart is completely oneness with Dharma, and then it benefits now, benefits all the futures. Spit on those who continue to cling to this mass of suffering called self-existent. When freed of this clinging, you go beyond sorrow. When gone beyond sorrow, you attain happiness. Okay, so now the third, the clinging in relation to self-centered purpose. So freedom from these two clinging is the experience of expanse. Your individual freedom alone is for no value. Being of the entire three realms are your parents. Spit on those who leave their parents behind in the storm of suffering and seek their own happiness. So similar like in the Lamrim, remembering all sentient being has been your mother, then remembering their kindness, then repay the kindness, then generate compassion, love, compassion, then bodhicitta develop. So very much talking about that. So in the storm of suffering, seek their own happiness. You see, so instead of doing that, then while seeing all sentient beings are suffering, then still you just pursue your own happiness. So then that is very selfish, and that should discard from our heart. Verse 24, may the suffering of the three realms ripen upon me. May sentient beings take away all my merits. Through the blessings of this meritorious act, may all sentient beings become fully enlightened. So the Tonglen practice. Then the so Tonglen practice is the hard practice or the essence, hard practice of bodhicitta. So bodhicitta is hard practice of the Mahayanic path, Bodhisattva's path, and also the hard practice of the entire Buddha Dharma. So whatever form of Dharma lineages that you are introduced, or whichever stage of practice you are in, whether it's preparatory stage or the resultant stage, bodhicitta still should hold as a main body practice, the heart practice. Some of us may be in the preparatory, maybe practicing the small capable beings path, or following the Hinayana path, or just a or following the just a sutric path, or following the Vinaya path. If any of us in that position and now realize that my heart practice is bodhicitta, all the practices I have, whether it's a Vinaya, Sutra, or any beginner level of practice, is actually a preparatory. My heart practice bodhicitta. Some of us may be in the position of resultant practice. Maybe you have received initiation, you're practicing maybe Yoga Tantra, Kriya Tantra, High Sukha Tantra, or even High Sukha Tantra. Now should have now should come to an understanding that my heart practice is actually bodhicitta. Even as a High Sukha Tantric practitioner, my heart practice, my main practice is bodhicitta. So if I practice bodhicitta, then will bring about the result of the resultant practice of your tantra. So without you forego bodhisattva practice as being as a sutric Mayanic Dharma, and now you got the tantric practice and you just do only the yoga in relation to channels and chakras and drop and forget about bodhicitta, then you will reach nowhere. Rather, there's a danger of having the mantra power, but then that may lead to distractions of even destroying the channels and chakras drop and no more enlightenment. So heart practice is bodhicitta, and the heart of the heart practice of bodhicitta is to practice, exercise in the Tonglen practice, taking and giving, exercising that, So the fourth one is in relation to the view, overcoming the wrong view and having the correct view. So in whatever way you abide in reality, there's no release so long as you grasp. To explain this as well in greater deal. Verse 26, there is no liberation for those who grasp at existent. There's no higher rebirth for those who grasp at non-existence. And those who grasp at both are ignorant. So place your mind freely, place your mind freely in the non-dual space. So the verse 25, whatever way you abide in reality, there's no release as long as you grasp. So this one is talking about all our perceptions, experiencing it is object, like the eye perception, seeing things, hearing things, tasting things, mental perception, perceiving, the thoughts. As long as there's no introduction of interdependently existent, then even that relative, that reality is living in the grasping, living in the grasping. So it's in the false mind. But as long as there's a narrative, as long as there's explanation, introductions of interdependently existent, then when you see through your eyes, when the eye perception relating to it is object and narrating to that relationship as interdependently existent, then you gain the freedom from grasping, the grasping of ignorant. Otherwise, without the narration of interdependent existence, when you see things, you see as inherently existent, even though you don't say it, you don't think like that, but it happened that way, and it leaves the imprint, and which is the cause of suffering, cause of samsara. Or another way is, whenever you see, narrate, you introduce, you educate you educate your eye perception, the eye perception through the mental perception. What you see as an illusional light, what you are seeing things, but you are seeing things as illusional light, then that able to overcome the grasping of ignorance, and that way that you don't commit the karma that will bring suffering. So this is the way to do that. Now the second verse, there is no liberation for those who grasp existence. So the here existence is referring to, if exist has to exist truly, inherently, independently, dualistically, or substantially. The moment you think, or the moment you understand, if it exists, then it has to exist substantially. As long as you have that, then you have a grasping. If you have a grasping of existence, then there's no liberation. So therefore, you need to have the wisdom understanding that if need to exist, not necessarily need to exist inherently. Existence can be being free of existence substantially or inherently or truly. You see, because as long as it exists interdependently, then that interdependent existence not necessarily has to be established existence in relation to inherently or substantially or independently, So, so therefore, this is to clear the extreme, establishing existence, clearing from the two extreme, the one of the extreme of nihilism or inner nihilism, one of the nihilism, isn't it? Clear, there's an assertion that exist means you have to exist. Only can be existent if it's substantially existent. Otherwise cannot be exist. But in the absolute view of emptiness, if exist, it still can exist without existing substantially or inherently or truly. There's no higher rebirth for those who grasp as non-existent. So then again, if there are assertions that if do not exist inherently or substantially, then has to be non-existent. But in the ultimate view of emptiness, being inherently non-existent don't have to be non-existent. As long as it exists interdependently, then it also carry the value of, it also carry the nature of non-existent inherently, but it still exists. So that clear the another extreme. So this two line clear the two extreme of nihilism and inner nihilism, and that is the middle way. And those who grasp at the both are ignorant. So those who grasp either or the both, then those are who as called as falls into ignorant. So as long as the ignorant is there, then there's no liberation. So place your mind freely in the non-dual space. So the non-dual space means exists but do not exist. Exist, no need to exist inherently. Non-existent, inherently non-existent doesn't have to be non-existent. It still exists, exists independently, like that. So verse 27, all things are but object of mind. Without searching for the creator of the four elements, such as wise, divine, Ishvara, and so on, place the mind freely in the sphere of the mind itself. So everything is the imputation of the mind. So this is the Pasangika Madhyamika view, like Nagarjuna's, everything is imputed by mind. There's no substantially exists from the object side, without searching for the creator of the four elements. In order to establish existence, you don't need to find a substantive existence from the object side, like the Saudhantika Madhyamika. For them, in order to exist, you need to have a substantial existence. The something has to be exist. Something has to exist from the object side or the subject side. You see, well, for the Pasangika, no need to do that. It's everything exists merely labeled by the mind. Then they are also asserted that it's created by external permanent force, like Ishvara, etc. In order to exist, do not have to exist that way. As long as the valid base is there, then created the label by the mind, and the establishment of any existence is possible. Nirvana is possible that way. Samsara is possible that way. So place the mind freely in the space of mind itself. Means everything is expressions of the emptiness mind. Verse 28, the illusion nature of all appearance and the truth of the dependent originations as well, one cannot describe their true mood of being. So place the mind freely in the infallible space. So it's a Masam Jame. It's unexpressible. That Dharmakaya nature, that ultimate nature of all phenomena, all existence, is inconceivable. It simply exists in the merely name. It exists in emptiness. That emptiness is not kind of like solid that you can able to kind of feel, or you can able to express. That experience has to be experienced by realizing it as a wisdom. Verse 29, through the merit derived from this virtue. Okay, so the verse 29 is a dedication. So through the merit derived from this virtue, or presenting the parting from the four clinging, may all beings of the seven classes without exception be lead to the ground of Buddhahood. So whatever merit they accumulated, through this teaching, then overcome the misery of these seven classes of seven classes of beings. So here referring to the beings of the six realms, and the number seven is the intermediate state beings. So entire sentient beings to be free without the conception, and lead to the ground of enlightenment, to be the cause of enlightenment. So the instruction on parting from the four clinging were composed by the yogic Drukpa Gyaltsen at the glorious monasteries of Sakya. Okay, thank you. So this done. Yeah, so we do a short dedication, even though the dedication just read can be that. But on top of that, then we do a little elaboration. So whatever merit we accumulate through this session, all the merit accumulated in the past, going to accumulate in the future, all the merit and virtue accumulated by 3 times Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Gurus, and sentient beings, may this collective merit be complete cause. Whatever inconvenience they may be in the world, be purified without delay even a moment. May the world be a peaceful place to live. May all the sentient beings only can enjoy peace and happiness and virtue and enlightenment accordingly. May this collective merit be complete cause, especially right now, there are wars going on in certain place. So there is, natural disasters, certain conflicts, whatever inconvenient there may be, purify right now. And everyone, live harmony. The world be very peaceful, and everybody cultivate bodhicitta, right view. May this collective merit be complete cause. Anyone who pass away, especially those who pass away in the last 49 days, especially those who pass away in the war zone, natural disaster, untimely death, even those who pass away in timely death, but pass away with so much pain, may they be free from suffering of death, suffering in the middle state, suffering of rebirth, actualize higher rebirth than Buddha Amitabha's pure land, and within that very lifetime they actualize state full enlightenment accordingly. May this collective merit be complete cause. Anyone who requests prayers from our Sangha, our monastery, nunnery, from the Dharma centers, who requested prayers from our gurus, who requested prayers from me, to whom I promise to pray, may each and every one of them, they fulfill all their aspirations and pray accordingly. May this collective merit be complete cause. All the beneficial beings, who are the source of peace and happiness for the world, like His Holiness Dalai Lama, all your spiritual gurus, yourself, your family members always enjoy good health, long life, and fulfill all the aspirations accordingly. May this quality merit become because most precious Guru, Gyaltsen Lama Subrahmanyam, all his holy wishes be fulfilled. May the reincarnation swiftly actualize in our life. May the reincarnation always have the conducive environment to manifest all Gyaltsen Rinpoche's legacy, if not more, or just like the previous life, maybe just like the previous life, adorning with perfect, pure Vinaya conduct, Vinaya precepts, and bodhisattva way of living life, and perfect Guru devotion, and be the absolute liberator of all the sentient beings from oceans of samsaric flows, and abiding each and every sentient being in the perfect virtues of enlightenment accordingly. Just like what Gyaltsen Lama Subrahmanyam did, may the reincarnation able to do just like that. May this quality may be complete cause, all the virtuous institutions like monasteries, nunneries, all the Dharma centers, and especially Chadong Jendong Center who organize this teaching, be free from inner outer city obstacles, actualize all the conditions to preserve the Dharma in extensive learning and actualizing realization on the stages of path, and all the Dharma projects to be accomplished and fulfilled accordingly, and it be most beneficial to the preservation of Dharma and to the benefit of sentient being accordingly. May days be auspicious, may nights be auspicious, may every single moment be auspicious. Dagi jinye sabe jawa de tena duwa gula gabe da chebra juze lo san chaba ye tenbe nyingbo ren do sa shi sho sa shi beje jo shi men do tam re rable shi nyen de jemba san je shin do mi de be wa ye do go nam da shin la che bara ye sho da shi lu nga ye so no jo de son ja zo je ren je men da son bo go zang so bo so ha lo ye la ne la ma ye da go jo so na bo te je wan je shi nyen da la chin je na do so da ji cha da mo so je be yo da nye ba so lo da lo jo na pam ba me ba bu je le shon Dosora Zandowa Jinji Lo Yedam Guru Rana Menda Lakam Niya Taya Mi Shanjo Semjo Rinpoche Maje Panam Jeju Jewa Nyeba Me Bayan Kone Kundu Pewa Jo Tonye Tawa Rinpoche Maje Para Jeju Jewa Nyeba Me Bayan Kone Kundu Pewa Sho Nye Tawa Rinpoche Maje Panam Jeju Jewa Nyeba Me Bayan Kone Kundu Pewa Sho Kare Rabe Kobe Shinga De Pendan Dewa Mali Sho Shere Sewa Tenzin Kyazo Ye Shabe Se Deba Do Tenju Je Tonye Nyinje Sundu Jube La Seje Senjo Kanje Tendu Ko Chana Pema Tenzin Kyazo La Sowa Deso Shende Lundu Kewa Kundu Yanda Lama Da Tame Shuje Pela Lonju Je Sada Lam Je Yende Rab Zene Do Je Chanji Gomba Nyu Do Sho Pama Simje Tamje Tenda Tenju Je Ngero Tamje Tatu Tonga Da Chanjo Semba Kana Su Sho Le Ta Ko Je Molan Do Je Simje Ne Ba Chinyi Ba Nyu Do Ne Le Ta Je Je Do Yene Ne Ma Le Ba Tatu Jo Me Ba Jo Jambe Ba We Jita Jemba Da Kundu Sambo De Yande Si De Da Kunje Je So Da Lo Je Jawa De Da Tamje Rab Do Ngo De So Je Be Jawa Tamje De Ngo Wa Gala Chu Do Ngo Ba Da Shin Je Be Sa Wa De Kunje Sambo Chu Je Ra Do Ngo Wa Je Chu Je Jabo So Ba Be Jisu Na Ma Be Wa Je Je Se Ma She Wa Da Dun Je Ma Le Sa Wa Sho Da Da Shin Je De So Da Do Ye Sun Ye La De Ne Jawa Lo San Da Ba Ye Den Ba Yu Re Ba Yu Re Chum De De Di Je Ba Da Ju Ma Yan Da Ba So Be Sa Je Na Ba Na Se Wa Ji Je Ba La Cha Chanjo Semba Semba Ji Mo Ku Do Sambo La Cha So Da Ya Da Om Be Ze De Ao Bu De Ne Som Du Ru Du Zai Mi Ni So Da Ya Da Om Be Ze De Ao Bu De Ne Som Du Ru Du Zai Mi So Da Ya Da Om Be Ze De Ao Bu De Ne Som Du Ru Du Zai Mi So大家别在这熬不的那种都是咱们就那地就把它就样的吧，这边3年没见了，别的地就过来，就那地就把它就这样的吧，这边3年，我的木兰他就了，对不对？家波拉cha ze lo me jo se je jabe je la da den de lo me be den ba da je la san da be nam da me be ne go du ju ji ni mo de le se de le ni me go ya de le ji ni ze da de le be ko jo su ye ta shi jo be dan zo wa mi ge be xin do ba sim je de ba kun ze be sam ba che jin dre be ta shi shu. Okay, thank you very much. Take care.
Geshe-la. Thank you so much, Geshe-la.
Take
It's
care.
wonderful. Thank you
you
for spending so much time with us today.
Thank you.
It
Thank
was
you.
wonderful. So thank you. And thank you everyone else joining us.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Keep well. Be happy. Take care.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Geshe-la. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la.
Thank you, everybody. Take care. See you soon.